WeTrainKC Podcast. We're live here at Kansas City Athlete Training's Football Academy, and we're lucky enough to have our Lead Defensive Back Instructor with us, John Randle. John's been an instructor here for the last 2 years leading our defensive back classes. He's also been a youth football coach for over 10 years for the Missouri Wolverines. And I wanted to take an opportunity to have John talk about what he's focusing on leading our defensive back class, what he looks for, and a little bit about his own personal playing history that makes him so special as a coach here. John, thanks for coming tonight, and I'll let you talk.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. Yeah, I've been doing DBs for a little bit now, and just a little bit about my experience. I mean, I played high school ball and also college ball. I went to Kemper Military Junior College, where I was a DB, played strong safety, and did a little at Missouri State. And DBs are concerned. We look at not only just speed, but we also look at hips. We also look how fast you can turn your hips and and your footwork. Excuse me. Mindset-wise with DBs, it's all mindset, and that's why I try to instill in some of these guys is confidence. If you can have confidence going out there, you can do anything, and that's part of life as well. It's building these kids' confidence.
One of the things, Coach, that I love about your defensive back class is, and I took a clip, and it'll be at the lead in some of these videos, is about how you were working with a kid last week and you were telling them to be aggressive, be a dog. And I don't know, so many kids don't understand what you're talking about. If they were able to follow social media, they hear Deion Sanders talk about it, but they don't know. Could you explain a little bit about your mentality? And you talked about when you're telling these kids to be a dog and what your expectation is with that.
Well, that goes back to what I was talking about earlier as far as confidence is concerned. A lot of sports, and I'm just not talking about football, but a lot of your sports deals with confidence. And when I talk about being a dog, I'm talking about the intensity, the not give up attitude, I don't care who's in front of me, I am going to dominate you. And sometimes some of these kids don't have that confidence, but I try to, and a lot of these coaches here try to instill that within the kids, because you can be the slowest kid but also had that dog mentality, and you already defeated the person in front of you. So yes, the dog mentality throughout my whole entire life was instilled in me. Whether it's sports or at work, you got to have that mentality of don't give up. I want to be the best person, the best version of myself when I get out there either on that field or at your appointment or whatever. So that's the attitude that we bring here to these kids.
And you're living proof with that, Coach, who you just recently got a promotion at your job. Yeah. So you're living proof of a guy that's trying to overachieve, be the best they can be day in and day out. And one of the things that is so unique when parents come in and they hear your defensive back class, they don't understand the contact that takes place as a defensive back. Our rules are completely different on the youth level than they are on the NFL. And so a lot of people are seeing that the 5-yard cushion that takes place in an NFL game where a defensive back can't put their hands on a receiver after 5 yards. That doesn't exist in youth football. No. And pass interference doesn't happen until the ball's in the air. So that's even more of a challenge for you to teach those kids to be, hey, you've got to get your hands on, especially if you're dealing with a faster wide receiver, to move your hips, turn your hips. Can you talk a little bit about what you instill there?
Yeah, with the youth level, we try to instill the aggressive part of it. So we want to get hands on the person before they get off when they get off the ball to disrupt their routes. And so a lot of times with kids at this age, if you can get a hand on them when they get off the ball, you pretty much won the battle. And so because there's really no pass interference. It's like you said, Coach, once the ball's in the air, that's when you get the pass interference portion of it. But if you get your hands on somebody and just touch them or get them off their route, you pretty much won the battle. And that's not only defensive backs, but that's teaching the linebackers and the linemen. So defensive backs is a crucial deal as far as being aggressive, putting your hands on them, and disrupting the route.
I couldn't agree more. And last but not least, we've had a couple parents that come in, and you're very vocal and loud and aggressive as a coach. And so many parents don't understand that, and they're like, man, that coach, he yells. But I have to reinforce it that he is not yelling. He is holding your kid accountable because he's seen the potential in your child. And maybe another coach hasn't held them, but John has the confidence, and he's going to hold your kid to a standard. And that's why you get more than anybody in here, get the most out of kids day in and day out. So I love your attitude. I love your enthusiasm. I think it's fun to coach with you. You bring the most out of the kids and that dog mentality. And it's a different level that when you step on the field. So we love having you here. I know defensive back class is getting ready to get started, and that's your passion getting over there. But one of the unique things about having Coach Randle with us, Coach Randle has had one child that has already gone through playing youth football, just got done. He's a senior at Staley High School and just received a scholarship in baseball. Okay. Coach, that had to be a learning experience for you to go through that. What was that experience like, having a child and trying to navigate where to go to college, where to get a scholarship, all those things?
Well, for us, it was an interesting process. It was a learning process. Little John, his passion was is football and also baseball, and so playing two sports, you almost have to, about your senior year, got to make up your mind what you want to do and what you want to focus on. And after the football season, he's like, "Hey, Dad, I want to focus on baseball." So, and me personally, I love football. Football is my passion.
Yep.
But baseball, my kids love it, and so if they love it, I got to learn it and like it. And so it was a learning thing for me, because I literally have to go on YouTube, learn baseball stuff, trying to keep up with them as far as understanding it. And so fortunately, he was able to get a scholarship at the University of Missouri St. Louis. Went down there, he tried out, outperformed a lot of kids and caught the coach's eye, and it was a blessing for them to give him a scholarship to attend to the school.
Yeah, and so now you've been through this with your oldest son. Now, how does it change? Because now you just recently had an 8th grader who was a very successful receiver, but is also a baseball player as well. How does it change with the advice you give to your middle son and Jaden?
Just the confidence. Nothing's changed really. My philosophy goes. I don't change. They know that, hey, you can either play football or baseball or whatever you decide you want to do. And it's fortunate that I'm fortunate that where I have athletes as kids, thank God. So, but they're able to play anything and kind of excel at it. And so, for him, and of course, and every kid is different. Little John is confident and he's very for sure about himself. But then you go down to my middle son, Jaden, my 8th grader, about to be a freshman, not so much. And so that confidence portion, once that confidence get up there, he'll be good.
Well, and so Little John, his son Little John just got done, or is a senior at Staley High School. His middle son, Jaden Randle, will be attending Staley High School next year. Your daughter, Carly, who was in here training yesterday doing high school speed and agility 3.0 with me, is a tennis player at Staley High School. And then now you've had 2 older football players that were both wide receivers, defensive backs. Now your youngest one, your 4th grader, is a center. Jackson, how has that been as a dad? Because you've had 2 skill position guys. You're a skill position, but now you got a lineman.
It's different. Really different, Coach. I mean, I'm used to dealing with speed, and bless my youngest son's heart. What he lacks in speed, he makes up in height.
He's got aggression. He's got aggression.
And he sees his 2 older brothers and his sister, and so he sees how that dog mentality. He just has it, and he just goes out there and he's an athlete. You put him on the line, and it's just now for him, it's just learning all these techniques and just getting hands on people. And so yeah.
I just want to tell you thanks for taking a few moments to come over here and chat with us on the podcast.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate you having. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.